Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Creative Mind, a podcast for the ever-curious. In this episode, we'll talk about the 3 things a woman looks for in a man to determine whether or not he is someone she'd have sex with. Research for this episode is based on findings from a study conducted by Cindy M. Meston and David M. Buss, details of which can be found in their book, Why Women Have Sex: Understanding Sexual Motivations from Adventure to Revenge. The book offers a lot more information than I could manage to fit in this episode. Check it out. Link in the description. And now, without further ado, let's begin. This is The Creative Mind. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of The Creative Mind. So, there are 3 things about you that women look at to determine whether or not you're casual sex material. These are how you look, how you act, and what I call your sex appeal market value. I'll explain each one further as we go on. Starting off with the first and perhaps most obvious reason why a female would select a male as someone eligible to fill in the role of a casual sexual partner is that, well, she happens to find that man physically attractive. No surprise there, right? Well, I think the question that interests us more is rather what physical attributes do women specifically prefer when looking for a short-term sex partner? One of the most popular attributes women cited was height. In the study, 80% of women stated a desire for men who were 6 feet or taller. Women looking for a long-term marriage relationship were generally more forgiving of height, but for those looking for shorter-term casual sex, a man's height was crucial. A similar pattern was found when it came to men's faces, as women who looked for casual sex preferred masculine-looking faces. Or rather, they focused their selection on men whose facial masculinity was above that of an average male face. Women who looked for a longer-term relationship looked for men with a less masculine mug. Another physical attribute that is favored by casual sex-seeking females are males that possess a V-shaped torso. Men who had broader shoulders relative to their hips were judged to be more physically and socially dominant by females, and thus had a better chance of engaging in more frequent short-term sexual relationships. Finally, one last physical attribute that was most commonly cited by women was a deep voice. Women favored a deep voice when looking for both short and long-term relationships, but the vast majority stated that a deep voice became a lot more important when considering a man as a potential mate for a purely sexual short-term relationship. The second criterion a woman generally takes into account when evaluating whether or not a male is someone she'd have sex with is how that particular male behaves. Behaviors that most might consider to be common knowledge, self-confidence, and having a good sense of humor were in fact found to be key personality traits that women cited as motivation to have sex. One woman described sex with someone who made her laugh as an extension to the good feelings of laughter he made her feel. She said that because he had made her feel good through laughter, those feelings led to him making her feel good in other aspects as well. Having a good sense of humor is such a strong sexual motivator that women rated it as attractive for all types of relationships, be it lifelong or one-night stands. Studies from the Buss Evolutionary Psychology Lab found having a good sense of humor to be the single most effective tactic men can use to attract women. By being humorous, men are viewed as most socially skilled and confident by women. Self-confidence is perceived by women as a signal of resources, of either having them or being able to obtain them, and of self-perceived mate value. That is, being confident of the qualities they bring to the table as a potential mate. Another behavioral trait women regard as sexually alluring is how a man particularly moved his body. Men that made more movements in order to maximize the amount of space their body took, such as stretching one's arms or extending one's legs, and that displayed general open body posturing were viewed as sexier and more dominating than those who tended to make themselves smaller or constantly had their arms folded across their chest. One final male behavior that women found dominant and sexually attractive was when a man physically touched another man without having that touch reciprocated, such as when a man places his hand on another's back. This behavior was interpreted as a sign of dominance one man had over another, and made women see them as having more status than others. The third and final criterion for a short-term candidate is what I call a man's sex appeal market value, or the amount of sex appeal he possesses relative to other males. Evidence of this is found in women who have sex with movie stars or rock stars that they know will only be an hours-long or one-night type of affair. The reason why fame seems to be seen as a sexually attractive trait in men is the reason women prefer to have men that are also desired by other women as sexual partners, something scientists call mate copying. Women tend to prefer males who have been quote-unquote pre-approved by other females. The higher the quality and sexual appeal of the pre-approving females, the stronger the mate copying effect. Also referred to as the sexy son hypothesis, scientists believe that women mate with men who are found as sexually attractive by other women because they subconsciously believe they will have a better chance of bearing a son who will, in turn, also be as sexy to the women of his generation. Finally, women tend to choose a partner whose physical attractiveness is close to that of their own. One reason for this may be a fear of being rejected, so they try to minimize the chances of failure by seeking someone close to their desirability in the mating market. They may think that going for a more desirable person could bring about the unwanted cost of always being on the lookout for pesky mate snatchers. In summary, the three things women look for in a man when deciding whether or not he'd be a worthy candidate for casual sex are: number 1, your physical appearance and attributes; number 2, how you behave; and number 3, your sex appeal desirability in the mating market. So in short, if you want to be sexually desirable to women as a man, make sure you work on that V-shaped torso, have a deep voice, be over 6 feet tall, make your face more masculine looking, show dominance by maximizing your bodily space, engage in non-reciprocal touching with other males, have an open body posture, a good sense of humor, be self-confident, be desired by other women, and be as attractive as her. The information you heard on this episode of The Creative Mind comes from the book Why Women Have Sex, in which the authors go much deeper into this topic. I recommend you check it out. Link will be in the description. This has been The Creative Mind. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, please consider supporting by visiting our Patreon page at patreon.com/thecreativemind. Keep up with the latest by following us on our social media accounts. You can find links to all of these pages in the show description. Once again, thank you.